everybody. Have you heard the phrase that's been tossed around a lot lately, that it's amazing how fast things can change? Things have changed rapidly over the last month, for sure. And I think we walk down that road because we have this underlying assumption that we can take care of ourselves. That there is an assumption that we can provide for our own security. We can manufacture it. We can manipulate the situation for our benefit, all so that we can be secure. And I would argue that that is not of God. In fact, I would say just the opposite of that. And that, from my perspective, if it's security, the other side of that would be vulnerability. And when most of us think about vulnerability, it's not about security. It's thought of as a negative term. It's a weakness, naivete, you're timid. And yet, when we look at Jesus' life, on whom we are to try to emulate, his life was nothing if not vulnerable. He went into the wilderness to be tempted for 40 days. And he realized he was on his own. He even said during his ministry, you know, the foxes have holes, the birds have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. He knew that he would die with nothing. And he knew that as he continued to move towards Jerusalem and eventually the cross, he would have less and less support around him, and he would become more and more vulnerable to this world. I don't think we think of vulnerability as a gift, but I would argue that it is. Vulnerability is a gift, and when it is offered to each other, it becomes a powerful thing. Vulnerability opens the door for healing, and it allows us to be united around our common humanity. If there's anything that we're learning in all of this, is we are not as strong as we would like to be. And so vulnerability is very much a part of who we are as humans, as a society, as a species. And when we can acknowledge that, when we can acknowledge that, yes, I cannot help myself, I need others around me, or more importantly, I need God. It is in that we can find our strength. And we can continue to move forward, even in uncertain times when there is much that is vulnerable. I think that's why I like the words that I think I started the beginning of the week with, which are the first two verses out of Psalm 125. And it says, "Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever. As the Lord surrounds Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people from this time on and forevermore." Those who trust in the Lord, those who come before the Lord, who are vulnerable to the Lord, acknowledging our weakness, and putting our trust in him, coming with open hands, saying, "Lord, I need you, we need you in this time." That is a statement of trust in the midst of vulnerability. And so I invite you to come and be vulnerable. Be vulnerable before your Lord. And the more vulnerability you are able to show, the more opportunity you will have to bring the peace and the restoration and the reconciliation with God that this world is continually and increasingly hungering for. Put your faith in the Lord. He will surround you and you will not be moved, no matter what may befall you. Well, there's lots of things going on. It's Friday morning. We have our welcome back to Alpha call tonight. Take advantage of that if you want to just kind of get connected again. So do that. We also will have Alpha starting this Sunday at 10 o'clock on Zoom as well. And those details will be in the newsletter. Beyond that, I also want to just let you know that one of the things that I'm going to do next week is starting on Monday and Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to noon. I'm going to start with that and have what I would call virtual office hours. What that means is I will be there on Zoom. It is my own personal meeting ID, and I will just have it up and open. And if you'd like to call in on Zoom, I'll put the meeting ID in the newsletter today, and you can just come in and we can talk. If it's just a quick, hey Buck, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day, see you later. Or if you have a question, or it's like if you were to just walk into my office, my door is open, and we just sit down and talk for a few minutes. You can stay for 5 minutes, you could stay for the whole hour, it doesn't matter. There may be others who will join us as well. And so I just want to open that up and just say that that's going to be available starting Monday morning at 11 a.m. and I'll do it on Monday and Wednesdays. So look for the details around that in our e-newsletter. God bless. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.